Okay, here are your data notes to start. In the next 2 days, you have to be able to calculate the mean, median, mode, max, min, range, 5-number summary, IQR, standard deviation, and variance. All of these numbers can be found by putting the data into your table button, into your calculator, and then like finding it out. Okay, by Wednesday, you got to be able to do all that stuff. Create a box plot from your 5-number summary, which is your min, Q1, median, Q3, and max. Know what each section represents 25% of the data, and then how to make conclusions. And then know your formula to find your outlier and determine if the data has outliers. So this is what you're doing over the next 2 days by yourself. Okay? Now, you're going to start by watching this video, which is called Data Day 1 Examples. Okay, you found it. Okay, here are all your vocabulary words. So a mean is an average. It's X bar in your calculator. The median is the middle number. It's MED in your calculator. The mode is the number that appears the most. If there's 2 that appear more than everything else, then you name them both. If there's none that appear more than everything else, then you would say none. Range is max minus min. Max is the highest number. Min is the lowest number. IQR stands for interquartile range. Q3 minus Q1. Lower quartiles Q1. Upper quartiles Q3. Okay, keep rolling here. 5-number summary. Min, Q1, median, Q3, max. Your standard deviation is SX. Unless the question's about population, then you use OX. Your variance is your standard deviation squared, which is SX squared, and it's describing the spread of the data. Okay? So, if you have a big calculator, a big TI-84 or TI-83, okay, when you turn it on, if you go to Stat, you click Enter on Edit, okay? If you need to clear the list, say there's numbers in here, okay? You go up to L1, you press Clear, you press Enter. It'll clear your list for you, okay? So if you want to type your stuff into this big calculator, I'll do one example with the big calculator. I'll do one example with these TI-30XSs, just because I have them in my room, but we'll do one of each, okay? With the big calculator, start by putting all of these numbers in your list number 1. You don't have to put them in order before you put them in your calculator. Just make sure that you don't mess up any of the numbers. I always like to go back and make sure that I type them in correctly. Okay, so I got 87, 41, 56, 87, 90, 76, 75, 81, 88, 89, 67, 66, 67, and 45. Okay, I got all my lists, numbers in list 1. Now, in order to find the mean, median, mode, and range, we're going to use the calculator. Okay, so I got my list. Here's how you find these. You go to Stat, you go over to Calc, and you hit one variable stat. Okay, so I'm going to hit Stat. I'm going to go over to Calc, hit one variable stat. The reason I pick one variable is because I have one list of numbers. All my points are in list number 1. My frequency, I don't have a frequency list this time, so I'm going to not do that. And then I'm going to press Calculate. Okay, my mean is my X bar, which is 72.5. Mode is the number that appears the most. Okay, so that doesn't come from my calculator. That comes from my looking at my numbers. And it looks like 67 appears twice. 87 appears twice. So both 67 and 87 would be modes. Okay, the median is MED in the calculator. So if I scroll down in my calculator, right there at 75.5, you see the median. Okay, my max is 90. My min is 41. Right there, max, min. Okay, now let me scroll this down a little bit. Okay, Q1 is 66, Q3 is 87. The way you find your range is your max minus your min. So 90 minus 41 is 49. Okay, IQR is your Q3 minus your Q1. So 87 minus 66 is 21. Okay, now standard deviation and variance. If this is a sample, which is most of what you're going to be given, you're going to be given a sample of test scores, a sample of data that's been collected. If what you have is a sample, you're going to use SX as your standard deviation. If you're given actual population, then you're going to use the O with the X. So we're going to use SX for almost all of our examples because most of the time we're given a sample, and so it's our sample deviation. If you use OX, that means that you're actually talking about population. So standard deviation would be SX and variance would be SX squared. So I'm going to move this over, write it down, 16.3. And then 16.3 squared is 265.7. Okay, so I've done all of those. Now you can try to work through the next 2 pages on your own. Otherwise, use the video from Data Day 1, pages 2 and 3, which is on your e-class. It's a different video than this. And that has an example on the next page given with the TI-30. So one more time, you're flipping the page over, you're doing pages 2 and 3, okay, by yourself. And if you need to follow a video through some of those examples, then you're going to watch video data day 1, pages 2 and 3, which is on e-class, okay? For those who are staying with this video, I'm going to skip through this. You need to do this page by yourself. And I'm going to skip all the way to question number 5, okay, on this next page. So I'm going to do this question number 5 with you, and then you can go back and you can do the rest of page 2 and page 3. So the reason why I want to do question number 5 with you is because this is a frequency table. Okay, the way you read a frequency table is this is the number that's actually in the list, and frequency is how many you have. So if I were to create a list from this, I would say I have 2 2s, 3 3s, 4 4s, because I have a frequency of 4. I have 4 number 4s. I have 4 5s. I have 1 6, 1 7, 1 8. So altogether I have 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 16 numbers. Okay? This is the frequency of how many I have, and these are the actual numbers in my list. Okay? So just so that you know how to read a frequency table. Now, if you're doing a frequency table in your big calculator, what you can do is hit Stat, go to Edit, clear your list 1. Now, I'm going to put the list of what the actual numbers are in my calculator. I could go 2 2, 3 3 3, 4 4 4 4. Okay? You could actually list out every single one. Or here's another way to do it. Okay? I'm going to go back to Stat. I'm going to clear my list. Okay. Here's the other way. You could put this in L1 and your frequency in L2. So 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. 2 3 4 4 1 1 1. Okay? Then if I hit Stat and I go to Calc, one variable stat, I have all of my lists in L1, but my frequency this time is in L2. So I'm going to hit second, and then I'm going to hit the number 2. And that tells it that my frequency is in list 2. Calculate, it'll do everything for you. Okay, now you only have to use that trick if you want to do list 1 and list 2 separately. If you didn't want to do that and you wanted just to put all of these numbers in your list 1, you wouldn't have a list 2 at all. You could do that as well. Okay, so rewind this video and rewatch that if you didn't catch it. So you can do list 1, list 2 as two separate lists, one being your numbers, one being your frequency. You go to stat, calc, one variable stat. My numbers are in L1, my frequency is in list 2, and that's why I calculate it this way. Okay? If you don't have a frequency, then don't put list 2 right here. You would just leave this empty like we did in the previous example. So I'm going to go ahead and write these things down. Mean is X bar. Median, max, min, and my range. Okay, I'm going to answer all those questions. Okay? Okay, in question number 6, I'm going to show you the other way to do it. So if I didn't want to deal with this frequency being the second list, okay, I go to edit. Okay, I'm going to clear list 2. I'm not even going to use it. Instead, I'm going to write out a list of numbers. So I have a 12, I have 4 13s, I have 2 14s, 2 16s, 1 17, 6 18s, and 1 21. And that's the list that I'm going to put in L1. So I've cleared my list. I'm going to put 12, 1, 2, 3, 4 13s, 14, 14, 16, 16, 17, and each one I'm putting in separately. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 18s, and a 21. Okay, so I have a total of 17 numbers. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I have 17 numbers, and I listed everything out as many times as it was in the frequency table. Okay, so this is the other way to do it. You don't use this list. You use that list to create how many you have. Frequency means how many of that number. And then I'd go stat, calc, one variable stat. I've got all my numbers in list 1, and this time I don't have a frequency list, so I'm going to leave that blank. And then I'm going to hit calculate. Okay, my mean is 15.9 and my median was 16. Okay, now everything, I'm going to pause this video here. Okay, everything that should be completed by the end of today is all of this first page data notes, all of these examples in the second, and then go back and do these as well. Okay, so everything up until this number 6, everything from the beginning to this number 6 needs to be finished. Okay, so go by yourself, or you can watch day 2, or you can go and watch day 1, pages 2 and 3 to help you out with the other questions that I skipped. If you continue on to data day 2, you can do that as well today. You have 2 days to complete all of this material, so split up the videos and split up the work as you would like.